This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From custom domains to beautiful websites using their easily customizable templates that you can have up and running in minutes, e-commerce, email and email marketing, SEO, analytics, and scheduling, Squarespace does it all and has done it for us for the last 10 years. If you are a small to mid-sized business in any industry, Squarespace is the place to go for all of your website needs. Hop over to www.squarespace.com/Hugh for a free trial. And if you like what you see and want to move forward, receive 10% off your first order by using the discount code Hugh at checkout. Thanks, Squarespace. Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant, and today's video is going to be exceptionally brief because I think I understand precisely what I'm seeing in Sony's just announced $800 304-gram without hood or front lens cap autofocusing 16mm f1.8G. And that is this. 1. It is a killer lens at the size, weight, and price. 2. With each new recently released G lens, including this one, Sony has improved not only image quality, but build quality and functionality compared to the previous G lens closest to it. The 16-1.8 is not your father's G lens. 3. Sony has clearly repositioned the G sub-brand by elevating image quality, build quality, functionality, and price to what I've taken to calling G Whiz level, which is to say approximately as good or better than first-generation G Master lenses. You won't mistake this 16-1.8 for a last-generation G. You won't mistake it for being a member of the compelling in their own right 24-2.8, 42.5, or 52.5 G Street or Travel series. But you and pretty much everyone else might quite easily mistake it for a G Master. From its all but identical industrial design, dedicated aperture ring, iris lock, auto or manual focus switch, declickable aperture switch, and customizable function button. In fact, the only immediately recognizable external differences between the latest G Masters and these G Whiz lenses are the colors of the G logo, silver versus red for the G Master, and the presence on the G Masters of more than one customizable function button. 4. Sony has increased the rate of improvement of its lenses. This 16-1.8 is sharper and, more importantly from where I sit, better corrected, especially for distortion, though only with the help of software, than the, 10-month-old 16-25 2.8 G Whiz at 16. 5. I'd assert that this 16-1.8 is arguably the most intelligently considered, and to many of us likely to be the most compelling, set of trade-offs for an autofocusing super wide. A. It is optically superior to and far lighter than its nearest competitor, Viltrox's 550-gram, $580 16-1.8. Then again, it is also closing in on 50% more expensive than the Viltrox. But I like Sony's set of trade-offs much better for street work, urban landscape in particular. Add to that Sony's proven track record for reliability, and for me, at any rate, the G Whiz is a no-brainer. As I imagine, it would be as well for ambitious but somewhat budget-constrained astrophotographers. B. The 16-1.8G is at the other end of the competitive spectrum, less than half the price and 1/4 the weight of Sigma's extraordinary $2,000 1.4 kilogram 15mm 1.4 DGDN art. The Sony is not nearly the lens the Sigma is in terms of image quality or build quality. Still, I suspect many astrophotographers will end up thinking long and hard about the trade-offs they are willing to make, especially since a fisheye is generally not the first port of call for astrophotography. The 16-1.8G's image quality may surprise you, and a 1.4 kilogram lens, it's just a schlep. C. A closer competitor at the high end then is Sony's own $1,600 460-gram 14mm 1.8 G Master. For many of us, an astrophotography dream optic, next level compared to the used to be considered awesome 20mm f1.8 plain Jane G. The 14 would be the lens to which many astrophotographers would want to compare the 16 1.8, but since I couldn't get to the 14 and I'm not an astrophotographer anyway, I'm not the best person to weigh in. Given that we own the 21.8, however, and to use 21.8 is generally going for 600 or more, I think the newer 16-1.8 is a no-brainer between these two. But D, for what Claudia and I do, street photography, with a particular use case for which these kinds of lenses are perfect, urban landscape. The most relevant competitor of all is Sigma's $549, just 220 grams 17mm f4. The Sigma is so compelling, with outstanding image quality at the price, size, and weight, that I bought one, and to this point considered it pretty much the super wide-angle autofocusing prime for this purpose. I would have shown you direct comparisons, but Claudia refused to allow me to carry all of the gear I wanted to compare. And she did not volunteer to be a pack mule either, although don't worry, I wouldn't have let her in any case. So I'll simply have to leave it at that, other than to say this. If you can live with f4, I'd still recommend the Sigma for its size, weight, feel, and hand and value, but there is this. The hyperfocal distance of any 16-1.8 is about 16 feet, and the two-stop advantage of the Sony would be very meaningful for night photography, not only for astrophotographers, but for landscape photographers, especially urban landscape photographers, with essentially no impact on what is in focus, although optimal sharpness would be a couple of stops down. I'll wrap it up this way. This 16-1.8 confirms Sony's hegemony in the lens space. It is simply incontrovertible. The E-mount lens ecosystem is the widest and deepest in the industry. Even as Sony supports third-party lens manufacturers, it has developed and is constantly raising the bar for its own core competencies in the design and manufacture of lenses. The combination of financial savvy, the power of riding the experience curve, the power of relatively high unit volumes over which to amortize costs, the willingness to increase that unit volume by standardizing on G-Master tooling, the relative insulation from budget constraints driven by temporary swings in the camera industry to weather those kinds of storms, courtesy of the portfolio of incredibly successful businesses, of which Sony Imaging is just a part, married to the company's ambition, are just unmatched. I do not know of another company that could and would pull off this lens at this price quite the way Sony has. But this does not mean Sony consistently makes the very best lenses out there at every combination of focal length, zoom range, maximum aperture use case. You get the idea. Not by a long shot. Sony doesn't consistently offer the very best set of trade-offs either. The uncorrected distortion Sony's lenses designers are willing to accept has in the past become something more difficult to forgive for those of us working in RAW. I mentioned this in my otherwise very positive review of their 16-25 2.8. But as Lightroom does not usually provide RAW support until after a lens or camera is announced, I cannot tell you today with certainty how much of an issue this is for the 16-1.8. I can say that the 16-1.8 JPEGs are better corrected for distortion than the 16-25 JPEGs, but I'm not sure they are quite as good as the Sigma 17 f4s. Anyway, that's it for today. The Sony 16-1.8 is one heck of a lens. It will be incredibly appealing to many of us. I cannot see how it will become anything other than a hit. And that is that. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From custom domains to beautiful websites using their easily customizable templates that you can have up and running in minutes, e-commerce, email and email marketing, SEO, analytics, and scheduling, Squarespace does it all and has done it for us for the last 10 years. If you are a small to mid-sized business in any industry, Squarespace is the place to go for all of your website needs. Hop over to www.squarespace.com/Hugh for a free trial. And if you like what you see and want to move forward, receive 10% off your first order by using the discount code Hugh at checkout. Thanks, Squarespace. If you like what you've seen here today, please give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, join the conversation in the comments section below because this is an exceptional audience. If you'd like help with a portfolio review, gear selection, finding or honing your artistic voice, sign up for a one-on-one mentoring video call via Zoom at 3bmep.com/booking. Finally, please consider supporting our work by using the no-cost to you affiliate links down below, sending us coffee money via PayPal, or most especially, joining us on Patreon, links down below as well. However you choose to support us, as always, we thank you for it.